HealthForce podcast. I'm Brandon Ramsden of RamsdenEliteFitness.com. That's RamsdenEliteFitness.com. Going to start today's podcast with a couple of announcements that we have for up and coming things, and our first one will be next Monday's podcast. Next week's podcast will be another interview. Now, we've done a couple interviews so far. I encourage you to check those out if you have not yet listened to one of them, just so you can get familiar with the format in terms of how we do our interviews. It's a very discussion-based format. I'm not asking set-up questions. I'm not debating somebody. The main purpose of our interview series is to bring on a guest in a specialized field and to simply let them talk about what they do. It's simply information seeking so that the members of this audience, you're able to get a nice overview of the entire health and fitness industry. There are various positions, various terms of employment that somebody can hold, and I think it's important as part of our education. That's the goal of this podcast, is education. Part of that is to learn who's out there, what people do, what makes each person in service different. Very important thing. So Monday of next week, we'll be bringing on Meredith Dykstra. She is a wellness coach, and we'll let her explain a little more about what that really entails. But it is different, in my opinion, from personal training or group fitness or anything that's on the active exercise end of things. A wellness coach has more duty in terms of, it's like an overall life and a well-being sort of improvement that they're seeking. It's not just physical. So I expect an interesting conversation there about things such as mindsets and different habits people can form. It's a little more on the psychology side. And I'm going to be very interested to see how Meredith separates what she does from some of the other individuals that can be in the wellness and fitness industry, such as the Beachbody coaches, the online personal trainers, the people that write plans online. Technology has allowed for different services to arrive on the scene, but not all of them, I would think would be beneficial. So I'll let Meredith explain what she does and how it's beneficial for you, and then that'll be next week. Another announcement I wanted to get on here with was our mental nutrition series on YouTube. If you have not seen the first episode yet, please go on and do it now. We will be releasing them once a week. At this point in time, it's Thursday. Every Thursday, a very quick 1 to 3 minute video dealing with mental aspect of health and wellness. So everything from helping people overcome failures, maintaining positive attitudes, forming good habits, getting rid of bad habits, getting rid of excuses, those sort of things will be the topic of mental nutrition. We have one episode in the books, and I very much encourage you to start the beginning. It's going to be a series that themes will repeat throughout, and they will build upon one another. So it is critical that you watch the first episode. And, my thing about mental nutrition, where I'm coming from with it, if you cannot commit yourself to following a weekly video once a week, 2 minutes of audio, 3 minutes of audio, what does that say about your mental approach to your health and fitness? How committed can you really be if something this small, this little investment that I'm asking all the audience to make, any individual, any consumer of our education and information to make, if you can't do that, what does that speak about your commitment, your true commitment level? So I very much encourage you to go do that now. You can even pause this podcast. Pause it. Go to our YouTube page, Ramsden Elite Fitness. Click playlists. You'll find mental nutrition there, and the first episode is there. You can just listen to the audio, really. You don't need the video. So if you're in the car, you're still able to do that. So I was on a cruise for the last 7 days. And I want to make that the center focus of today's podcast. No, not the cruise and talking about, what did I do on it? No, we're going to wrap it together in terms of health and fitness. and what sort of role that an experience like that can play. First, I'm going to set the stage. I'm going to set the stage for this podcast. I'm going to give you my personal philosophy on things like cheat days, enjoyment, rest weeks, stuff like that. So this is placed in the proper context. We are at a dangerous crossroads, in my humble opinion, in terms of health, fitness, and then your life moving forward into the future, and how you should view something like exercise and dieting. It stems from having an obesity rate that has skyrocketed, that sits at about 67% of the population as out of shape, overweight, and obese. Therefore, there is a humongous market for health and fitness. You're constantly given facts about heart disease, exercise. We have, Fitbits that track. We have got watches that track. We've got cell phones that tracks, everything from steps to sleep. It's becoming a major critical part of our lives, with respectably, with good reason. But we are in danger of crossing the road in terms of making health and fitness something that is obsessed about. Something that is obsessed about. If we get to the point in our society that we need a cell phone to track how many steps we take every day to ensure we're getting physical activity, is that too far? Have we gone too far? If we've got individuals who are coaching nutrition and writing diet books where they're telling you to cut out entire food groups, have we gone too far? And with that, in respect to that nutrition side, we've got individuals saying artificial sweeteners are bad. People are saying gluten is bad. Sugar is bad. Grains and fiber are bad. Beans are bad. Peanuts are bad. When you look at the common paleo diet, there isn't much left over to consume. I mean, I don't want to make it dramatic, like, oh my God, we can't find food options. That's not what I'm saying. But the things that are being cut out are things that most of us have consumed on a regular basis for the majority of our lives. And correlation is not causation. So because somebody consumes gluten and artificial sweeteners and they also happen to be overweight does not mean that the gluten and artificial sweeteners are causing the person to be obese. And that is something that these new on the scene, these fanatics, this is their pitfall that they're falling into, is they can't look at causation and try to determine what that actually is. They're not very much interested in that. So, my argument is, how obsessed should we be about fitness? Do we need the things that are coming onto the scene now? And the way we're going to tie that in is to how I took a 7-day cruise and my behaviors upon this cruise aboard it. And how I structure that around my health and fitness to myself, okay? Another thing I want to touch upon. My honor to myself, my own personal belief in health and fitness is obviously very strong. I do this for a living. I encourage and try to help others to do this for a living in terms of making health and fitness a priority. And I want to make a very strong asterisk here on that point. It is one of many priorities. It is not the priority. If you are treating your life to live in a way that is health and fitness, because that's the number one thing, I actually think that's a mistake. That is an error. I'm not looking to create followers or create believers in our product and service that the only thing they do is worry about consuming too many calories all the time, that they can't enjoy themselves on a day off, that they always got to work out, they have to run 10 miles a day. I'm not interested in that. I actually think that's a mistake. Certainly, there are people that are going to be extreme athletes. There are going to be exceptions to every rule. But what is the point of getting a health and fitness centered life if you can't enjoy life and doing things that you actually like to do? Who does not like dessert? Okay? Honestly. The very, very small fraction of people that would say that they are disinterested in dessert. Okay? That's just one example of something that people always forego. No, I can't. I'm on a diet. No, that's not good for me. That's all sugar. I mean, how often has that happened to you, perhaps? Anybody you know, family and friends, you know them. You go out to eat on a weekend to enjoy yourself, and they get a a side salad, and that's it. Water, the entire dinner. You're there for an hour and a half. It's very, very commonplace. So on this cruise, 7 days, running around through the ocean, visiting some very scenic, beautiful places, enjoying swimming pools, enjoying beaches, enjoying very, very good dining. I was very impressed with the dining, especially for dinner on this cruise. But guess what I also enjoyed? I also enjoyed dessert. I'm not a frequent consumer of dessert. It just doesn't fit into the way my days play out right now. The different diets that I go through, and the one currently I'm on, which is intermittent fasting. I don't have time really, or do I really necessarily want dessert? It just isn't part of the plan right now. That doesn't mean it's awful. It doesn't mean it's bad, that I should never consume it. I'm just saying right now, for me, it doesn't work out. So on the cruise, I actually got to enjoy dessert. And guess what? I had dessert 7 days out of 7 days. Yes, I said that. You're hearing correctly. I said I had dessert 7 days in a row. The way they served their meals, was 3 courses for dinner, like a little starter, like a salad, soup, or a small appetizer, a main entree, and then a dessert. It was all part of the same meal. So, knowing this going into the cruise, I was not going to I didn't tell myself, I have to remain super strict right now. I'm not going to enjoy, I'm going to be very, very hard on myself. I'm going to be disciplined on the cruise. Even though it's a vacation and it's something that should give me enjoyment, I'm going to make sure that was not my attitude. My attitude going in was, I'm going to actually enjoy this. This is my vacation. Let me ask you this. Do you know how many times or how often I've had vacation in the past 3 years? The number of days I can count on 2 hands. Between 6 and 10 days, I'm talking of go away, enjoy myself, don't work, take time off. It's less than 10. So I went into this saying, you know what, I'm actually going to enjoy this for myself, for my girlfriend. I'm not going to be on the phone. You don't have internet connection, number one, so it's not like I could have worked. But I wanted to enjoy myself, and that I did. Now, to preface this, it wasn't all, it wasn't reckless abandon. It wasn't me ordering fried chicken for dinner with, mozzarella sticks for an appetizer, and the dessert was 3 pieces of cake, okay? It wasn't that. But does it have to be that to call it enjoyment? Is that true? Where's the line of enjoying yourself and then going too far, becoming a slug, a sloth, gluttony, essentially? At what point is that line, So, anyways, yeah, you bet I enjoyed chocolate, I enjoyed cheesecake, I enjoyed key lime pie, lemon meringue pie, and guess what? I also, don't tell anybody, I also had a drink package. Oh, what's a drink? A drink package. I bought a drink package ahead of time. I could get any alcoholic beverage on the ship, practically anytime I wanted, $13 and under for free. So if the drink cost me $13 or less, it was free. I just go up, show them the card, bang, got it. Now, does that mean that I had consumed 12 beers every single day or, 10 mixed drinks? No, not at all. What that meant is for 7 days, I may have had a drink or two, afternoon outside in the pool. For dinner, I'd have a cocktail or two. And then maybe after dinner, we'd go out and walk around and maybe I'd get another drink. And some days, maybe it was 8 drinks total. Some days it was maybe 3. I wasn't sitting there tracking my drinks, okay? Why? Well, I wanted to enjoy myself. And no, just so you know, you little college kids out there, no, I was not quote-unquote hammered, quote-unquote drunk, quote-unquote sloppy, quote-unquote wasted. No. I didn't even think I got a buzz any of the days, just so you're aware. Got it? I hate to have to make that disclaimer, but some of them out there, everybody out there's going to hear that and think, oh my God, this guy let loose on it. No, that's not why I drink alcohol anymore. Those days are done. But I'm not going to sit there and artificially handicap myself and say, hey, hold on, just 3 drinks a day, that's it, you're done, Buster. No, I don't like putting those parameters, especially on a vacation. Now, if you're somebody at home on a normal basis and you happen to go out Friday night, I am a fan of saying, okay, 1 or 2 drinks, that's it. Or hey, I'm not going to get an appetizer. I'll just get a main meal and a dessert. That's it. I am for moderation in the everyday context of your average week. I'm a big believer in 100%, sticking to your diet 100% of the time for the average person. And I think that where people mess that up is that their average diet that they're normally supposed to be on is too restrictive. So you have to understand when I say like normal diet, I'm assuming you're on something that Rams Only Fitness would approve of, or that we would advocate, or that we teach our clients, or that we walk a client through a normal diet that does allow for enjoyment in your regular week. But vacation's different, right? Vacation's a little different. It's a different setting. It's a different atmosphere. So that's from the food and drink side. Okay? And I did it. And look, folks, this is the thing. If I am in the health and fitness industry, if I do this for a living, and I can enjoy myself, why are you not enjoying yourself on vacation? Or why do you feel the need to restrict yourself if there's an event you go to, or you go out for drinks with coworkers or family once a week or something? Like why do you feel this unnecessary restriction that you can't ever do any of that? No, drinks? No, I can't do that. I'm on a diet. And the answer is because you're on the wrong diet. You're on a diet that was built in error, or that you read in a book and that the author is extremely wrong about. Restrictive diets are more commonplace than overindulgence diets. That's correct. I meant that, and I wouldn't say it otherwise. I find restrictive diets to be more of a common theme than diets that are built around overconsumption. Let's talk about fitness. Okay, this cruise liner did have a fitness center. It was open from 6 a.m. to 1 a.m. So nice open hours. As you can imagine, the gym was built poorly. It was probably 65% cardio machines just lined up, like 4 rows of 12, like literally 50 pieces of cardio on one entire side of the gym. And the other side, there were actually about 10 more pieces of equipment that used for cardio, treadmills, ellipticals, etc. And a little machine section, like those weight plates, like shoulder press weight plate, your robe, things that were just machine based. And then there was like 5%, a very, very small section for dumbbells, and they had 1 Smith machine. That was it. No barbells, no benches, like bench press stations. Just the Smith machine was the only barbell in the place, and then I think 4 incline, decline, adjustable benches that were just freestanding for dumbbells. So, not a very impressive freeway section, but I still made it work. I did go to the gym out of the 7 days. I made it to the fitness center 4 times. So, not bad at all. A typical week at home for me is between 4 to 6 days a week at the gym. So, being able to nail 4 days is, in my mind, very acceptable and very almost impressive considering the circumstances. I mean, I don't know how many people, if you take the 5,000 people aboard that the cruise ship and split it up into 2 groups, those that went 4 days or more to the gym and those that went, 3 days or less, it's probably 95% to 5% in terms of 5% getting there that often. I saw a couple faces that I recognized, but most people on a cruise aren't looking to go to the fitness center. So I was very happy with that. And I was actually able to construct good workouts. You have to be able to adjust on the fly. So everything that was, in my current routine that was barbell, I obviously had to swap out for a dumbbell or a Smith machine version of it. There were limitations on equipment and exercises that we were able to perform. I did not perform plyometrics because being on a ship trying to jump around is not a good idea. Especially these boats rock. They do rock, folks. So we just adjusted. They had a very nice track that actually ran around the outside of the ship. Absolutely beautiful. We went early in the morning, 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m. Started our day that way for those 4 days. Ran around the track, could see the sunrise, could see the water behind the boat, could see the different islands as you're passing. I mean, it was absolutely beautiful and breathtaking. We did some intermittent, high intensity cardio. So, changing between high intensity, low intensity. So sprinting, walking. And then just inside, just like I said before, doing dumbbells and doing different variations of resistance weight training. Now, even though I kept that commitment to myself, I went to the gym 4 days. I ate very well during the day. So for breakfast, it was very low. They had very high carb, high sugar foods. I'm talking pancakes, French toast, Belgian waffles, donuts, Danish. And I had on one day out of the 7, just one day, I had one Belgian waffle. I put strawberries on it and whipped cream. And I had a single. That was it, one. And that was only one of the 7 days. Every other day, the 6 other days, I went right to a lower carb breakfast, higher protein. Hard-boiled eggs, just because I don't like those watery scrambled eggs. If you've been on a cruise or you've been to a banquet, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Those watery pre-made eggs, not for me. So I got some hard-boiled eggs. There was bacon. There was sausage, both turkey and pork sausage. Fruit was available. Water, obviously, black coffee. But I was able to start the day off right. Get to the gym. I'd wake up, get a coffee, get to the gym. Go eat breakfast, a lower carb breakfast. I would have fruit and for some carbohydrates post workout. But that was it. I mean, I told myself if I could be like 70% good and 30% enjoyment on this cruise, that would be a success for me. And so the way I broke that down in a typical day, I said, look, I'll have breakfast on point, I'll have lunch on point, and then we'll have dinner. I'll be mainly on point for that, but if there's something I really want to enjoy, it's not the best for you, I'm gonna go ahead and get it. But that would be the meal in which I would really not be as restrictive on. And as it turned out, actually lunch was probably my worst meal of the day, just because of the options that were available. It just allowed you to be more less lenient on your diet. But for dinner, I mean, these guys, it was very high-end food. You sat in a dining hall. The chefs were fantastic. I mean, I'm talking like, having, very elaborate soups, elaborate salads. Even the appetizers were very well done. But the portion sizes were very small. So I actually find myself, for dinner, getting some vegetables for the appetizer. Or if I were to get something like seafood, they had like shrimp cocktails, which I did not have. They had like scallops. I'm trying to think of some different ones I had that were very interesting. I had eggplant tartare. It's very good. Low calorie, just a bunch of vegetables kind of mashed together. I mean, so I just found it was very easy to eat things that are delicious and to also consume less calories. And then for dinner, I stayed away from pasta. I didn't have pasta once. I didn't have pasta once on this cruise. And again, not that pasta is bad, but it is a higher calorie, higher carbohydrate meal. For dinner, I mainly had steak and vegetables, maybe like a side of mashed potatoes, but that was really it. Seafood, chicken, had some chicken, some seafood. I mean, it's just the way they were structured was actually very easy to eat healthy. And then for desserts, of course, I got what I wanted. And the desserts were portioned very small. It wasn't like you're going to get 2 pieces of cake, or even the slices of pie weren't, these massive portions. It was very well done. I was actually impressed with, being able to structure that dinner menu in a way that it catered to somebody being more healthy. So, but that's my typical day. Okay, that was my typical day on a cruise ship where you're sailing and there's people around you drinking, just 10 to 20 drinks a day on these drink packages. People getting The way the food worked during the day, it was free. You just walked in, and a lot of it was buffet. So people were getting, 2 or 3 plates of buffet food. They're consuming hot dogs. They're consuming hamburgers and pizza and cheeseburgers and pretzels and donuts. It was very, it was easier during the day to not be very healthy in your food choices. And I think most people would have indulged on that and have, gotten less healthy food. But now the main point that I want to stress to you is that, folks, it is critically important that enjoyment is factored into your overall life plan for health and fitness. You have to. If you do not, I'm telling you right now, I don't give a crap if you are a 5-star athlete recruit that's going to go play college ball. I don't care if you're a lifelong marathon runner. I don't care if you're below 10% body fat. I don't care who you are. If you do not factor in enjoyment into what you do, you will not be successful. You will not be successful. Now, everybody's enjoyment level is different, and I think that is where the proper structure and plan comes into place, and why working with somebody such as a professional through Ramsley Fitness, for instance, as our e-coaching program, where we you utilize apps on your phone. We have communication through Voxer, which is an app where you can send text messages and voice messages to your personal trainer 24/7. You're working with somebody. You're creating a relationship with somebody, creating a plan from scratch, tailored to you, and you have a professional being able to monitor your different enjoyment levels and helping you out finding things that are going to fit into a plan that's going to be successful for you. We do not come in and say, hey, knock off all the enjoyment. You had enough of that for the last 30 years. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to consume vegetables and chicken. Congratulations. We do not do that. That is a recipe for failure. Many of you have probably already experienced that going on a diet like that. A restrictive BS diet has led to failure at some point. You might have been very, very good on it. Maybe you lasted 3 months, 4 months, half a year, but inevitably you will, if you don't find enjoyment in that, if that's a struggle for you, you will fail. So it's important that you figure out what you actually enjoy and incorporate that. If you enjoy dessert, find a way to incorporate it. Maybe it's once a week and it's very, very small. Maybe it's once a month and you splurge and you get something very big. Maybe it's a whole Ben & Jerry's ice cream tub, whatever. You've got to figure it out and what's a moderate, acceptable level of that enjoyment and then putting it into your program. So for me, on this vacation, I went in saying, look, I'm very, very good, 90% of the time at home on a normal basis. Just how busy I am, I don't have a lot of opportunities to go out and get like McDonald's every day or to not eat anything all day and just have a salad. I mean, that's not the way my normal life's structured. So when it came to this cruise, my life was going to be very structured, very, very different. I was going to have free time. I was going to be able to enjoy, lounge on the beach, sit in the pool, enjoy a pina colada. So I had to change the way I thought about it. And I just said, look, I'm going to be 70-30 on this cruise. 70-30. That 30% will provide me with enough enjoyment that I'll ever need. And trust me, it was. I did not any night during the cruise go 80% enjoyment and just go crazy, because that does not align with who I am. So maybe for you it's different. Maybe you are an 80% person and you have a really tough time limiting alcohol consumption or whatever, and you go and say, okay, 2 nights out of the 7, I'll let loose and have fun. The other 5, that's it. 1 drink and I'm done. Maybe that's what you need. Okay, so I want you to get the importance of today's message. It's not a matter of following some pre-scripted, pre-authorized, some other individuals telling you what you need. It's you working either by yourself or working with a professional to create a plan that allows enjoyment. And only you can really answer that. Only you can tell what you get enjoyment from, what gives you happiness, what provides that for you. And then it's either something small and painless that you may be able to incorporate frequently, or maybe it's something massive and actually bad for you, like a massive dessert, an entire tub of ice cream or something, I don't know. And you really enjoy it, but it's really, really bad for you. Maybe it's an entire pizza and it's bad for you. Well, then you have to structure it less frequently. There's an inverse relationship there between, happiness, or not happiness, sorry, the repercussions of your enjoyment and frequency. That is an inverse relationship. I hope you enjoyed listening about my 7-day, how I incorporated fitness and proper nutrition as best as I planned for into a 7-day cruise on vacation. I hope you're able to take away something in that message about enjoyment and planning, and how maybe if you have something coming up, or maybe you had one this summer where you did not approach it that way, and either you went overboard, or maybe you went the other way, but maybe you were too strict on yourself and you end up not enjoying your vacation. Either way, if you plan for it incorrectly, I hope you take away the message that I'm trying to give to you today through the podcast about that. So the next time that comes around, you're able to properly plan for that. I mean, you can take the same mental approach to any sort of event. It doesn't have to be a 7-day vacation, okay? It can be a wedding where you're going to be there for 3 days or something. Take the same approach. But you should not be depriving yourself of happiness or enjoyment for health and fitness. It's the other way around. Health and fitness should exasperate, or what's a better way I could put this? Health and fitness should help encourage you or allow you to enjoy life. That's the proper order of things. You shouldn't be looking to squeeze out enjoyment out of health and fitness. It should be the other way around. So I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. I hope you will be with us next week for our interview. I'm very much looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a high education, high level of information, something that you all can handle in this audience. If you've been listening to any of our podcasts, you know the amount of content that we put into this. You understand the science and research, why it's important. So you'll have no problems digesting any information discussed next week. And our YouTube series, Mental Nutrition, it's brand new. Please be sure to check it out. Start with episode 1. And then just listen to them one a day. If you're behind by the time you listen to this podcast, listen to one, and then the next day maybe listen to another one. But don't just listen to them back to back to back. Really look to digest the information and then put it into practice, whatever the message is. In an optimal world, you listen to one a week, on time, on delivery when it comes out, and you're able to implement that Thursday. Now, Thursday wasn't picked by accident. Okay, I didn't just let's do it on Thursday. No, not the way it works. Thursday, to me, is for a very important reason, for 2 reasons. Okay, number one, it leads you into the weekend. Okay, Thursday almost sets the tone in my mind for how Friday, Saturday, Sunday play out. If you feel like crap, if you're very bad on your diet, if you're bad on your exercising, you're not going to work out Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I mean, most likely, it's not the way it's going to work. If you start eating poorly on Thursday, you'll most likely not care Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I pick it Thursday so that when you're able to listen to the message that I'm conveying, you're able to implement it right then and there, on the spot, Thursday, and then have a nice Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Utilizing the new tactic, the new habit, the new tool I'm giving, the new tip. That's number one. Number two, Thursday also happens to fall right after hump day. So again, when you get to Wednesday, Wednesday's a make or break day, but Thursday allows you to recover if you're not off on the right foot. If you get to Wednesday and you're dissatisfied, you're not looking forward to the rest of work or the weekend or what have you, Thursday is a nice day to have a turnaround day. Okay, so not only can you have a turnaround day, but you can also lead it into a nice weekend. So I really hope you check that out and subscribe to our YouTube page. Again, that's Rams and Elite Fitness. For all other inquiries and questions, I encourage you. Facebook, social media is very easy and convenient. You can message us on our page or right on our wall. It's Rams and Elite Fitness. Our Twitter. We are in the process of changing the handle, but if you search Rams and Elite Fitness, we come up. Or search Ramsden EF. Ramsden EF. Instagram, Ramsden Elite Fitness. And our email. You are able to email us if you have something that you don't want out in the social media sphere, something that's complicated, something that's private. You can email us, ramsdenelitefitness@gmail.com. We will be happy to steer you in the right direction. That is not something that you have to do if you're looking to buy a service or get into our e-coaching program. That is not strictly for that. So even if it's something, you're looking just for a tip or two, maybe for diet or an exercise routine, any of the avenues you can reach us. But if you wanted to make it private or something that you feel is just, you don't want to put on Facebook, you can email us. And we would be happy to put you into the correct direction, even if it's not something with Ramsden Fitness. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you all next week on our podcast or interview with Meredith. Thanks.